Hi, and welcome to episode 29 of Celebrity Customer Experience Riffs with me, Jill Raff. This is where we share stories always from the perspective of customer experience, from the inside out, from employee experience to customer experience, because I am truly obsessed with employee experience creating outstanding customer experience. And every customer deserves to have that same pampering treatment as a celebrity. I believe that your business, your restaurant, can increase revenue while engaging committed and loyal employees and customers. And it all begins from the inside, which is why my proprietary process is called the Inside Out Framework from EX to CX, because I guarantee you outstanding employee experience will produce extraordinary customer experience. So welcome if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay, also I want to remind everybody, replay or live, to comment. I can see your comments when you write them in the threads and engage with me. Let me know your thoughts and your ideas on whatever it is that we're talking about. And we will get to today's topic, which I'm super excited about, values, core values, mission, and vision. So my parents and grandparents were early McDonald's franchisors, and their first McDonald's store was number 150, opened in Ocala, Florida, March of 1959, when McDonald's was the gold standard of the restaurant industry. Now, sadly, there's so many brands today that we experience that we've lost that connection. The connection that's created having owners and executive management, general managers hands-on and involved and doing whatever is needed to take care of their employees and their customers. So due to my upbringing in the McFamily and careers across various industries from fashion to restaurant to real estate, spanning 7 countries, that golden thread for me was always based on something that I learned as a young child, which was Ray Kroc's motto of QSC and V, quality, service, cleanliness, and value. So of course, I naturally now teach the ABCs of QSV. And with this core value, this core foundation, and all the other work that I've done, I inherently understand the extraordinary customer experience and why it's really now a part of my DNA. So it stands to reason that with this being my foundation, it stands to reason why I feel so strongly about establishing your core values, your mission statement, your vision before opening your doors, literally or figuratively, depending on if you're a restaurateur, a hotelier, a doctor, dentist, attorney, or even a consultant or a coach. Your core values, vision, and mission, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to your company? So I have to ask, a lot of people think that, oh, yes, of course, I know what my company stands for, but does your customer understand what it stands for? And more importantly, before your customer is your first line customer, which are your employees. Do your employees know what you stand for? Do they know what your values are? Because if they don't, they have no reason to choose you over a competitor who's also hiring. So what I want to do today is kind of go through a quick blueprint or a rough idea about how to build your company culture, the ethos by which every decision of your company thereafter should be in alignment. So it's really important just to look at this framework to figure that out so that you know how to make those decisions accordingly. So what we found is that most businesses develop a business concept, a restaurant, because they love food and they love cooking, hospitality. So they randomly create a rough plan, hire warm bodies, and they take care of all the functional and technical equipment and supplies, all those things that are needed, and some basic training elements, but they don't educate their people on who they are and what they stand for, because in many cases, they haven't clearly defined it for themselves. And if you haven't clearly defined it, if it's not super laid out and documented with 100% clarity, there's no way one can communicate that to others. We have to first be able to define it and communicate it to ourselves, and then to our people. And how you define that to your people is before you're even on board as a team. A part of that is to define it to the recruiters, to the people that you're speaking to, who you want to put out the word that you're looking to hire for your advertisement, so forth and so on. So what I mean by this, here are some examples. If you're wondering, if you should hire Susan or Joe, first find out if they're aligned with your core values and your mission. Are they team players? Like, is team player a part of what you want in your brand promise? So I would suggest that you really itemize, list concretely what those key things are. Now, another example, if you're looking and you're thinking to whether to decide to put budget towards PR, which is paid advertising, or doing a social media campaign. So I suggest you first decide, is this goal, is it serving your goal? Are these actions, are these things that you're going to put money or energy around, any resources? It doesn't even have to be financial, but certainly financial as well. But if you're going to put any resources, time and energy towards these, I would suggest that you look at those and say, are they serving your goals? And are they in alignment with your brand values and your brand promise? And if the answer is no, then don't do it, because then you're out of alignment with your own values and your mission to get you to where you want to be in the longer term vision. So let's break that down. The cornerstones to achieve your vision are clearly defined by documenting your core values and your mission. But what has to come first is your big picture vision. So let's understand what each of those means. So your core values is when we answer the question, what do we stand for? Who are we? What do we represent? What will the world think we are? How will they perceive us, right? We don't always own our brand and what that means, because it's based on perception. But first you decide with your core values, answers the question, what is it that we stand for? So while mission, on the other hand, answers the question, why do we exist? What is the need that we fulfill in the marketplace? Those are the foundational pieces in this blueprint of building the ethos in your company. And the vision, of course, is the larger big picture, which means, what does success look like for us? This is what you should be asking yourself. What does success look like at any identified appointed time in the future? It's the big picture. It's the goals that you're looking to achieve. And so since this foundation of core values and mission and your end goal of the outcome of vision are all stacked upon one another, let's break this down. So let's start with the big vision, the big picture. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? And then we're going to work backwards. I suggest you reverse engineer back into your core values. And that might sound a little twisted, but they go hand in hand. It's not like you don't think about your core values at all, because they have to be a part of your vision, of course. So in terms of, after you've established the key things of who you are, in terms of your core values, figure out, how is that going to apply in my big picture vision? And let's reverse backwards. So you create your vision, right? Your long-term goal of what you want to achieve and by what end date. So make a date when you're doing this exercise. And then figure out, okay, so to achieve that, what are our goals? And, the goals could be, major achievements that will lead you to reach that vision. You have to chunk it into big parts. So first is the goals. What is it that are your key goals, and how will you achieve those goals? Next is, looking at how do we achieve the goals? We're looking at action plans. We're looking at key strategies, at game plans. What is the big overarching strategy and actions that will need to happen in order for that vision to become a reality? So we need that first. That's really, really important. And along the way, in order to have those big plans, those big strategies happen, we have to look a little deeper. The next line is to think of what plans do we have with these smaller little achievements, these smaller plans of action in order to achieve smaller wins. Each win builds on the next to get us to that larger goal. So that leads us to the initiatives, the broad band of where the strategies lie, within where the strategies lie. So what specific projects, for example, what programs, what behaviors will you operationalize in order to get the outcome that you want? You have to operationalize these strategies. You have to say, these are the behaviors that we want to see, which would be in alignment with our values that would allow us to achieve this strategy, this goal, this vision. You see how that all builds on one another. So at the very base, then we've backed down into core values and mission. This is the foundation. This is why we exist. So it's kind of a rough idea of how I see helping you figure out what those core values are, the mission, where they play an important part into your business, and to give you some guideline, a roadmap of figuring out what questions do I ask, how to dig deeper, how to reverse engineer back into that. So today is a short episode, but I think it's chock full with a lot of thought-provoking ideas and suggestions that will help you create those lists that you need to dig deeper and deeper. And every time you come up with an idea, with a strategy, with your initiative, and then strategies to accomplish that initiative, and then going into how do those strategies achieve our goals, and how do those goals ultimately create our long-term vision. Every time you establish one piece of that, do the why exercise. If you haven't heard of this before, when you're trying to really nail down and drill to the core message or idea of anything, you ask yourself why. So why would we do that? I really want to achieve in a business of integrity and great teamwork. Okay, why do we want to achieve that? Well, we want our people to really work well together and collaborate. Well, why? Well, because when our people work really well together and they collaborate, they're going to be happier together. Okay, so why do you want them to be happier working together? Well, if they're working happier together, then they're going to stay longer, so it increases our retention, reduces our employee turnover, and why is that important? Well, it's going to save us a lot of money and hard and essential costs. People call them soft skills or soft costs, but it's really hard because even if it's a people-related activity or interaction or behavior, they cost you because it's those people that are choosing to work with you or to go to your competitor. It's those people who are choosing to come as a customer to you over your competitor. So drilling down, asking that why question. So why is that important that they be happy and that they stay? Well, when they stay, they're creating a better customer experience because things are fluid. There's no chaos. There's no disruption. There's not someone learning the ropes again and again and again, someone shadowing. And so your service is divided. It's not focused on your customer. You're busy trying to train someone as well. Okay, so why is that important? Well, we want our customers, of course, to have the best experience possible. And how and why is that important? Well, we know that if we don't have a great experience for them, they're going to feel like they're just a transaction. Well, why is that important? Because no one wants to feel like a cog in the wheel. They want to be, they want to matter. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be appreciated. And they want to know that they're not just a transaction. Why is that important? Well, if they're a transaction, it's cold, it's impersonal, it has no human element involved. And what's the opposite of that? It's an interaction, it's a human, genuine interaction. Okay, so why does that matter? What's that important? So that it's because when we transform a transaction into an interaction, we are creating those relationships with our people. Okay, I think you get how that goes. So I've given you some ideas. I've shown you how the why game works. Do that with your own values, your own skills, your own core values, your mission, and your vision. I'm here. I would love to hear how that goes for you. Any questions you may have or feedback, please share with me. I always forget to put these up, but hold on one second. I will put my information up there for you. There we go. Please share with me whether it's here on this thread, your experiences with today's episode, where you found value. Excuse me. There's that value word again. So where you found value and how you are going to apply it in your business, and how you find doing this exercise. Does it help you? Does it help you get clarity? Because remember, you have to have clarity first before you can communicate that to others. And you can't hire your first employee without hiring them, establishing what those values are, because they don't know what they're entering into. And if people don't know what they're getting into, they're likely to move to the next guy, so they have a clear understanding. So thank you again for joining me today. And please comment if you're watching later in the reviews. Let me know your thoughts. Please reach out to me. My information is up there. It's jill@jillraff.com, my website, jillraff.com. And Raff is R like Ronald, A like apple pie, and double F like French fry, of course. So please reach out. Happy to have a conversation and see how I can help your business grow. Have a great day.